Now, you talk about a multidisciplinary approach,
Mhm.
meaning people come in to talk about how to recognize this from a different standpoints, like what to do in a physical situation, what to do in a psychological situation, an emotional situation, that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Whenever a company is setting up, their workplace violence prevention plan, you should have legal folks in the mix. You should have local law enforcement. You should have your security. You should have your employee assistance programs or employee assistance services, whichever one it is. You want to have the ombudsman, the conflict resolution individuals or division, if you guys have one within the company that's setting this up, and have psychologists, have threat professionals who've done this for a living come in as well. And, all of these professionals may not be within your organization, so you may need to go outside and bring them in, even if it's just on a consulting basis or, they just come in maybe once a quarter, but, gather all these individuals that all will play a part in preventing, analyzing, behaviors and responding if an incident would happen.
There are things like threat assessment teams that can help with workplace violence. Maybe you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Mhm. Yes, I think every organization should have a threat assessment team. And again, that's that multidisciplinary team where you have all those individuals on there and you have professionals who go out and gather data that you're going to need to be able to assess the threat. So you have to know who the perpetrator is. You have to know stuff about them, through interviewing people who know them. You're going to need to get records checks, through law enforcement. If you're in a school, what services has this individual taken assistance from? Do they have records? Make sure that communication is happening. And you're going to need to, also be able to you have to look at the targets. Who are those targets that the perpetrator is focused on? Is it general? Is it specific? And you're also going to have to notify them and put plans in place to protect them as well. And so these are things that threat assessment teams do. So you asked, how you can prevent it. Being proactive with threat assessment teams and all this that you're putting in place is honestly the best thing you can do, because you don't just want to be reactive, but that's what a lot of organizations end up doing. But these threat assessment teams have everything ready to go so that in the incident that some sort of concerning behavior comes up, or there is an act of violence that is on a low level but you're afraid it's going to go higher, these threat assessment teams can come in, gather all this information, and then sort of assess the risk, also put into place assistance to help the perpetrator. That's the other thing. I don't want people to think, we're just going to push these perpetrators further away or ostracize them, because honestly, a lot of times they want to be heard. They need assistance for whatever they're going through. And if organizations can also deal with them in a compassionate way to sort of get them off the pathway to violence, then that also averts a lot of the incidents that could have happened. Is just treating that perpetrator also with compassion and understanding as well.
Now, also, I mean, I always encourage people too that if there's any sort of problem or threat or issue, that they keep good records of what's going on. Even it was, so and so did this to me at the water cooler today. And you start to build build the case for it, so that if it comes to the point where you need to, for example, have a police report done, the police are going to take you much more seriously. Or, the people that are in charge of your threat assessment teams, if they come in here and to your business and they're doing an assessment, and you have been experienced this, you can go to them and say, hey, look, these are some of the things that have been happening to me here. Here are the days, here are the times, here are the details. They're going to go, whoa, this person is serious. They have this recording. Oh yeah, and here's the screenshots of the text that they sent me, and here's copies of the emails that they sent me. And you kind of build your own sort of evidence folder, and it illustrates to those in law enforcement and into those positions that are, in the positions to hopefully assist you, that you're really serious and this is a real problem, so that they take whatever measures are necessary. I mean, don't you think that that's something that people should be doing as well?
Yes, you perfect point, and you stated it very well, because a lot of people will get rid of evidence, or they don't write it down like you're saying, or they delete it, or they forgot to take pictures. If someone destroyed something in the office, definitely take a picture of that. If something was vandalized, you want to have that evidence. So the more individuals can gather, and share it. And also, when you're going to someone to share it, let them know where else you reported it or where you shared it, so they can talk to that entity, because maybe they ask different questions that the other entity isn't asking, but then together it sort of brings up that whole picture of what's happening. The communication aspect is also very key, but very good point.